Welcome to Season 2 of the Country Files. My name is Malin, and today we will discuss buyers from the Netherlands and Belgium. So please, can you introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from originally, and how long you've been on the Costa del Sol, and a little bit about your work.
I'm Marleen De Vijt. I'm one of the founders of Azull. Azull is a real estate company merely dealing with Dutch-speaking clients. We're in business since 2009. We started on the Costa Blanca, but then elaborated to the Costa del Sol, Costa Calida, Costa del Maria. We do Gran Canaria, we do Tenerife and Mallorca. We have offices in the Netherlands in Den Bosch and in Belgium in Antwerp and Ghent. We merely are buying agents. So we guide Dutch-speaking clients through the whole buying process in Spain. And in the end, they buy property. But in fact, the whole process around it makes them feel at ease and they trust us, and then the result is a property. And that's the way we do business. We have a team of 19 people all over Spain, the Netherlands and Belgium.
Yeah, I think for me it's a little bit different. I'm the sole owner of Glaser Group. We have 3 different pillars, which is real estate, holiday rentals, and we also do immigration advice. But we also do the buying and the selling part. We're here on the Costa del Sol since 2019. At this point located in Alorin de la Torre, but also Arroyo de la Miel. And from there on, we advise our clients in buying and selling.
And Peter?
Yes, I'm Peter. I'm Peter Franke. I'm one of the founders of Franke de la Fuente law firm. Colleague of you, yes. Malin, as well. And congratulations on being the host for the very first time. You're doing a good job.
Thank you very much.
And welcome to both of you.
Thank you for inviting us.
We, Franke de la Fuente, well, we're a law firm. We're also focused on the foreign clientele, of course. Clients from all over the world that are interested in investing in the Costa del Sol and also in the Balearics, where we have an office also. We help them with everything when it comes to the investment process, meaning the buying procedure, of course, the conveyancing, everything related to that, meaning immigration regimes if that is needed, tax structure for individuals and companies, investors that wants to buy through companies. We incorporate those companies, we give them the structure that they need, and we maintain those companies with taxes and accountancy. And we try to be active on the market as well and communicate with everybody involved to understand the market better from every point of view. And that's one of the reasons why we started the Country Files, which is now Season 2. I'm happy to finally do the Dutch and Belgium buyers, because it's a very interesting topic. And I think we're going to have some interesting conversations here today.
Starting with the Netherlands, Maarten.
Yeah.
Can you briefly walk us through how a typical property purchase works there
in the Netherlands?
Yeah.
So I think the biggest difference between the Netherlands and Spain is in the Netherlands you normally have one agent. You have a selling agent who posts mainly on one website. It's Funda. You can, as an individual, look for properties, see the phone number of the agent who is selling that, call him, book an appointment, and go and have a look. If you want to have a buying agent helping you searching the properties, you literally need to hire him yourself and pay him yourself. So that's completely separate. And I think a very big difference as well in the Netherlands is agents are very specialized in locations. So one who is selling in Amsterdam will not be selling in Rotterdam or Utrecht. Like it's here, people go from Malaga to Estepona. It's not like there. People are highly localized in one region. The second difference is the procedure is different. There are no lawyers involved in the Netherlands. All the work is done with checking, etc., is done by notaries. And as soon as you make an offer, you sign a purchase contract in normally 2-3 days. After signing that purchase contract, you've got, by law, 3 days, 72 hours to still cancel the deal without giving any reason.
Is that what they call the cooling off period?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after that, you either pay a deposit or you have a bank guarantee, and you wait until notary.
Yeah.
So it's very different than here.
Yeah.
And the notary's role in the Netherlands, I know that there are slight differences between Netherlands and Belgium. How would you say that compares to the role in Spain? Is it the same,
No.
or is it different?
It's different because in the Netherlands they also check for outstanding loans and stuff like that. And here in Spain it's literally just for the registration and everything. Yeah. And in the Netherlands it's a much broader role.
Yeah. I think we'll get deeper into that.
Well, the buying process in Belgium it's totally different. It's a very highly regulated market. There are very strict rules. You have to have a license, otherwise you're not allowed to sell properties. But it's not only selling. Also, if you want to be a property manager or you want to be a key holder, for all that you need licenses. We have a traineeship of a minimum of 1 year and 1,500 hours of education. We have to do
1,500?
yes, so 10 times what Andalusia is deciding to do. We have to do an exam. You can try twice. If you don't succeed, you don't get your license. We have like an internal, we have an organization, it's the Belgian, it's the professional institution for real estate. They're all also managed by the government. If you make a mistake, a consumer can make a complaint, a bit like the complaint forms in Spain, but it go to an internal courts. Yeah? You have to defend yourself. If they say, you didn't comply with this or that, they can take your license. It can be temporary or it can be definitely.
Does that happen a lot?
It does happen, yeah. It does happen a lot. So the consumer is very sure because what an agent is can do and has to do is very clear. Yeah. I gave you my business card. I invite you to turn it around. All the regulations, all my licenses, all my insurance. Everybody has an insurance. It's in the amount of money you have to pay yearly to keep on having your license. It's like €1,000. We're all insured. And on top of that, they go actively looking whether you do the procedures as you're supposed to do. Each year they take a new subject. This year they will control whether all your insurance and license number are also on your social media. If you look to Instagram, you have 2 places where you can put a link in your bio. One I can use for marketing purposes. The other one, if you click on it, you will find all the rules, all the addresses, if you look on a website of a Belgian real estate agent, you have to be able to find who owns it, where are they, what are their licenses. Yeah, everything has to be there.
So it's a highly regulated market, as you say, strict. It sounds like
very strict,
according to what I know as well.
Yeah.
But Martin, there are differences then when it comes to the role of the agent. So it's more regulated, more strict, but there are also regulations in the Netherlands when it comes to what an agent must.
It's much less strict. I mean, in the Netherlands, everybody can become a real estate agent, but normally a lot of companies will only hire qualified agents with a degree, etc. But you do not have to be an agent with a degree.
But are there expectations from market expectations, so to speak, from a customer point of view, that when you're working with an agent in the Netherlands, that they expect that agent is actually trained? There is a framework, insurances, liability, etc. involved.
Yeah.
we talk from the Spanish point of view, right? From Belgium, it's absolutely clear what kind of expectations they might have on the agents here. But
in the Netherlands, they have the expectations, but there are a lot of that you have one real estate agent who's got a couple secretaries or assistants who help him out, who don't have the proper licenses, but still act as an agent under the other one's license. So there are more ways around it.
Okay.
Well, it's on the one side, it's strictly regulated about the role, but also the documents we have to deliver. We have, we have like a thing like the nota simple, but we also have: is there asbestos in the building? Is the electricity okay? Now, is there a risk of water damage? All those checks and balances, they have to be in order before you can start the marketing. And then you have to put them in your ads. So that's for Belgian customers to see that the documentation is gathered while they're already in the buying process. That's very strange.
That's interesting, because when we did the French country files, we were talking about the fact that there are mandatory inspections when it comes to electricity, to water, etc., etc. And it sounds like it's similar. That part, at least, is similar to the Belgium structure and procedures.
And on top of that, in fact, we have to do the same investigation of the property as the notary. And the notary will do the process again. So you're next to that Belgian institution for real estate, government managed. We also have the Federation of Real Estate Agents and Professionals. That's the group who helps you to train, to be in order with everything. There we have an insurance for data, so for a breach in the computers, whatever. But it's also our lobby machine for the government, because the agents at this moment, the real estate professionals in Belgium say, it's too strict. We have to do the same job as a notary. It's a bit stupid. What did they do? They have like an automated system where you can automatically make your contract, and all those documents you need, they lobbied because they're all the asbestos, the water risk and all that. That's all in databases of the government. So they negotiate with the government to get that data automatically. So at this moment, 70% of the data you need, you can, by being a member of this association, it gets automatically in the contract. We also have like almost 200 different formats of contracts we can use, where we know when we use the contract, everything is okay. There will be no hole in it.
What's the name of this contract? I think it's compromis or something. What's the name? This is a term for the Spanish, the Belgium.
Compromis.
Compromis, that's right.
Yeah, but there we have our process, the compromis. You have to sign it within 4 months, so not 2 weeks or so. Belgians are used to it can take longer to get to.
And the Dutch are a little bit more.
The Dutch is quite fast.
Yeah, but on the other hand, when you make an offer, you do it by your phone or whatever, it's closed. Yeah, you cannot. If you want to get back to that, it will cost you a lot of money.
That's the same in the Netherlands. I had a client go to court because he literally had a WhatsApp, yes, I sell it to you. Before contracts were signed, they won in court. While here in Spain, you've got no chance, almost.
No, not really. But what you're saying, I think, is interesting, because before we started the cameras here, we were discussing a little bit similarities between certain Scandinavian countries, Belgium and the Netherlands. And we said, it's always simplified when we have this kind of conversations, right? A little bit fun almost. But it sounds to me like that the Swedes and the Swedish society have more in common with Belgium, and the Danes and Denmark seems to have a little bit more in common with the Netherlands. In their culture and in their and in their
I think in all, yeah.
everything, maybe. So on that topic, actually talking about similarities between certain countries, etc., this is the first time in the Country Files where we have two countries in one episode. And of course, people might wonder, and yourself might wonder as well, why are you here representing Belgium and the Netherlands? To me, if I can answer it first, and I will leave it to you, is that for some reason, people on this market seems to associate both countries together for some reason. I don't know. I'm not sure. But they're also, I think, both countries are very significant participants here on this market. Yeah. So maybe for that reason, it makes a little bit sense. What do you think? Starting with you.
Well, the only thing I think we have in common is Dutch. Our official language is Dutch. Yeah? In the Netherlands, the whole country speaks Dutch, and in Belgium, we have officially 3 languages, and we speak Flemish, but it's not an official language. So we have the language in common, but for me, it stops there.
That's interesting because you said something different.
I said something different earlier, and I'm looking back to my notes from yesterday, and it literally says, main reason is same language, the rest is quite different. Okay. And I think, yeah, you've got the division between the Flemish and the French part. Mm-hmm. So I think the main connection is half of Belgium in that. Personally, I think there is a completely different mentality and type of people, and we share 95% of the language.
So what you told me before earlier that you you actually feel that you have more in common with Latin countries like Spain than with the Netherlands.
Yeah, the Flemish speaking part. So those we have a Catholic background. Yeah. That we share with the Spanish, with most Spaniards. Yeah? And so the way of dealing with people, family is very important. When I talk to a Dutch client and say, yeah, your children will also enjoy this property, he says, my children, it's for me. It's me time now. I'm exaggerating. You need some new ones.
You're not. I'm counting the days. Literally, my oldest daughter is going to the Netherlands to study, and I'm counting the days like, okay, 1 down, 2 to go, and my wife is like...
I used to be in finance in the Netherlands, and we were selling an investment product, and I tried to convince the client that it would be a good thing to buy it because their children later on, and they said, my children, I already paid for their education, they can look after themselves. So the Catholic thing is a thing.
Absolutely.
Then we are, our government, we are like, we don't expect them much to do, so we'll decide ourselves what to do. Privacy is very important. It's a bit a cliche, but in the Netherlands, they don't have curtains on their windows. Everybody can see in. A Belgian, he closes curtains, he builds a house, put a big wall, and it's very keen on his privacy. Yeah. And on top of that, you have like more than 1,000 years, all other nationalities and countries came to tell us how to rule our life. Yeah. They came to, we had the Romans, we had the French, we had the Austrians, we had the Spanish. Yeah, so in the end, we are more closed and reserved. I'm a bad example because I dealt already.
You seem to be quite open to me.
I'm very extrovert for a Belgian.
But doesn't it also matter? I'm sure it does. The history, the commercial, the trade background of each country. Because of course, in the Netherlands, they have the maritime industry, you have logistics, finance, international trade in your backbone and in your DNA. Yeah. In Belgium, I think it's more family business orientated, private capital kind of orientation in the business life. Yeah. And of course, this matters because if you're a country built on international trade, you need to be quite efficient and to the point and direct to make that business happen. And in Belgium, private family is more security, systematic.
Negotiation, trust is very important. We do business, it's a cliche, but we do business over dinner. If you want to do business and your business partner doesn't invite you at the time that lunch could could be followed
Yeah.
or dinner, he doesn't take you serious. For the Netherlands,
That's different.
it's often a waste of time, or they go to dinner when the deal is done.
For a bit of fun.
Yeah. I make a lot of business deals. They end in the bar, in the restaurant, for a coffee and lunch and stuff like that. But in the Netherlands, it's completely different. And I think...
So you have adapted a little bit to Spanish.
Yeah, well, there's a reason I moved out of the Netherlands. But I think what you said before is maybe the biggest shift and reason why in the 16 and 1700s, the Netherlands was the world leading dominant power with trade and everything, and they conquered the whole oceans. And that
With
mentality,
Belgium.
with the mentality of trade and everything, it's always been there in the Netherlands.
Is there a friendly competition,
Yeah.
so to speak, between the countries?
Yeah.
We always make fun of each other.
That's a little bit like the Swedes and the Norwegians, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very
But I always felt that more at ease in the Netherlands than in Belgium.
I lived in the Netherlands. I lived on the Dutch-Belgian border, but spent most of my time in the Netherlands.
So we have good background. I think we can dive into this even further because I'm very, very interested in this. But let's see how that now affects how we do business, or how the expectations of those buyers here in Spain.
So, to jump on to the next question, Marteen,
Yeah.
what tends to surprise Dutch buyers most when they first buy a property here in Spain?
I think the way the buying goes, because it's completely different from how it goes in the Netherlands. So by the time that you say, hey, okay, let's go and talk about lawyers. Have you already thought who your lawyer is going to be and stuff like that? They're like, lawyer? I'm just buying a house, because they're not very used to it. The timing, the way contracts is, hey, we sign a reservation contract now and a purchase contract in a month. They're like, we do it in 3 days, we do it in 4 days, and then we move on. So I think those are, in the buying process, the biggest changes to them, and the most areas that they need some guidance and advice about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can agree to that, and that is my experience as well. We have to say also, this is quite across the border, so to speak, across the line, that with any nationality outside Spain, more or less, they have, of course, different systems.
Yeah.
And the system in the Netherlands and in Belgium has more in common maybe with certain Scandinavian countries than in this case with Spain, even though there's a notary involved in Spain, which we don't have in Sweden, for example, or other Scandinavian countries. But I think when we help Dutch clients, something that I see from the very beginning is that they are quite clear from the very start with their questions, to the point, and they expect that we and everyone else involved in that transaction should provide them with this clarity immediately. Ambiguous answers, and people, and if the information is not correct, or it's only half the information, they could be a little bit frustrated by that.
Yeah.
And that it's not only the Dutch, of course, but I think that expectation of very efficient way of doing business can sometimes collide a little bit with the more, let's say, laid back.
And I think one of the other things that the Netherlands, or at least the Dutch people, need to get used to is, in the Netherlands it's very normal to have an asking price of, say, 500,000 and buy a house at 550. Overbidding is the standard in the Netherlands at this point. So especially if you go and look for resales properties, they're very surprised, like, okay, so we're asking 3 million and we can offer 2.8 or 2.7. Instead of, we need to offer 3.2. And those are one of the surprises. And if you compare that with the directness, as soon as they hear it, you give them a finger, they want to take the hand. So, so it's 3 million asking, let's offer 2 and see what they say. Then they go immediately the other way.
That's interesting. I think we can have the same question to Marleen then when we talk about the Belgian buyers. This, and we spoke about this in other country files. That's the reason I bring it up now, is the transparency of the bidding. So in the Netherlands, as the intermediary, are you obligated to show after the negotiations are finalized?
No.
How many bidders? Who was the actual bidder? Or is it
It's close.
it's closed?
And it's highest. It's not always the highest bid wins. It's the best offer. So a friend of mine, he owns a real estate agent in Tilburg, and sometimes it's an offer with €10,000 or less that wins because they don't need a mortgage or they can transfer faster and things like that. But you're also not allowed to give the other parties the height of the bid. So you make a bidding and that's it.
How about Belgium?
Well, for the Belgians, the biggest adaptation they have to do is that there is no exclusivity. They're used to agents are sellers' agents there. Yeah, their whole business is about getting property in a portfolio. That's their business. So they call us and they say, look, the property you proposed me, I saw it on 2 other websites. Yeah, well, you probably will see it on 300 or 1,000 other websites. So that's very strange for them. And there is also, we tell them then, yeah, you have to pick one agent and he can show you whatever you want. But it's very difficult to make them believe it. There is still the FOMO. Yeah, but yeah, if I only take one agent, will I be able to see everything? That's very difficult.
Isn't in Belgium not like, a big property site like Fuente that you hire one agent, they stick it on there?
Yeah, but that's a platform where you promote
the
agent,
properties.
but there is always, in residential real estate, it's only one agent.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they want to buy something on the Belgian coast, they want to see 10 properties, they probably have to see 4 or 5 agents who each have some. So that's already a big difference.
In the Netherlands.
Yeah, that's a very big difference. What they also, that they have to take a lawyer because the job of the notary is limited. They're like, yeah, but you're the agents. You're supposed to do all that work because that's what they're used to in Belgium. You're not doing your job because I have to get... No, the real estate agent in Spain is not licensed. He cannot get all that information. Yeah, you have to give. Now I forget the word. You have to give power of attorney to a lawyer to do the job for you. So that's also very different. The process is less because in Belgium it also takes 4 months to sign a compromis. So that's less a problem. So there, in the negotiation, we have in Belgium by law. Each offer, we have to tell it to the seller. So there, when the offer is too low, as we are a Belgian company and a Spanish company, and the transaction started according to Belgian law in Belgium, because we started explaining them how about buying property in Spain, we have to make the offer to the other party. But yeah, if the offer is too low, especially if you buy from Spaniards, they will be offended, and the whole negotiation goes. Yeah.
But do I understand you correctly that in your company, because you're a licensed real estate agency in Belgium,
but also in Spain, yeah.
But also in Spain, but that means that you need to follow the rules of the Belgium Association when you're doing your business in Spain.
Yeah.
Because that's similar. Well, I can understand that and I can relate to it because I'm a I'm a Swedish lawyer. I lived in Spain for 8 years and I'm a member of the Swedish Bar Association in Sweden. So even though I carry out my lawyer activity here in Spain, I still have to follow the ethical guidelines and rules.
That's the same.
Can be disbarred in Sweden for my activity here.
I have to do my formation, I have to pay for my license. We don't sell actually nothing in Belgium or the Netherlands. The only thing we do is explain to clients how to buy property, but I don't know how it's called. Perhaps you know it in English. They call it saucissonize the law.
No.
So you cannot say this part of the transaction you need a license, and for this part you don't. It's the whole process. So if a client is not happy with what he bought in Spain, he can take me to court in Belgium and I can lose my license.
No, that's a good proof that system is quite strict, even compared to other quite regulated countries, like, for example, Sweden as well. It's more strict, this approach.
And also everything what is money laundering is very, very strict. It was very strict Before it became strict in the Netherlands, we had a lot of Dutch clients when we asked them, where does the money come from? That's not your business. They said, that is our business.
But at this point, it's
Now
very,
it's
very,
changed.
very
Yeah, it's
strict in the
changed,
Netherlands. I know of a notary who actually stopped being a notary because there was so much time and effort going into the anti-money laundering, and if he was doing wrong, he could be held accountable by Dutch law, by the Dutch government, and they could claim him everything. And he said, it's just not worth it anymore. I'm wasting so much time and energy on proving where the funds came from. He stopped.
That's a completely other podcast. I think we can do an hour only on anti-money laundering, because absolutely that.
But Belgian clients don't find it. Yeah, they know in advance, so we will ask it. Yeah. The lawyer will ask it, the developer, the seller's lawyer will ask it.
But is that also the fact, because what I understand from the now and also the differences between Belgium and the Netherlands, and now regarding Belgium, that it's highly systemic, so it's a reliable system from beginning to end. Yeah. Everybody's licensed, there are regulations, it's very strict, etc. And I assume then that provides them with the feeling of security, knowing I will enter into this process now, and things will just happen accordingly to the rules, and I'll be protected, right?
Yeah. Give them the full sense of security, because they expect the Spanish real estate agent, what is my competitor, to run his business in the same way as I have to do it. Yeah, and that's not the case.
No, I will follow up on that. So the experience that they have is that they're part of that they are passing through a safe system, so to speak, right? And when they then enter the Spanish property market, what would you say? How does that affect them when they are, trying to buy properties here?
Well, we focus a lot on the buying process, telling them in advance how it works. So we focus on what's the purpose of your purchase. Yeah, it's for yourself, it's an investment or whatever. What's the amount of money you have? Where does it come from in the money laundering? And this is the process that you will get into in Spain. And by that time, they understand themselves how the process works, or they feel confident that we are the party who knows how it works. And then we can, that's covered. And now we can focus on the region and finding the right property. And of course, we will have to repeat in the meantime. Once they have bought, we have an after sales department that does nothing else than coordinate between the lawyer, the developer, and the client, to repeat the process, to say, now it's going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. We have all kinds of guides and checklists where they can, so then, or the trust is there and they say, Azull, you take care of it, or they want a checklist and then be able to follow the whole process.
Yeah.
And they will, even when the lawyer says it's okay to sign, they will mail us or call us and say, the lawyer says that we can sign. Do you agree? Yeah. I mail back and say, yes, put your signature there. I don't do it lightly. Yeah.
Do you is it the same? Do you think with the Dutch clients that they are looking for confirmation and security from the broker in the same way as Belgium seems to do?
I always advise my clients not to believe the brokers and the agents, because there is so much nonsense being told. I tell them your backstop is your lawyer, and believe them. Don't believe me, don't believe any other lawyer. I'll do my best, I'll be honest, I'll give you the best advice possible. But let's wait for confirmation. And like that, we had investors buy apartments with us that we canceled because the lawyer said, yeah, no, you can get the license, or it has the license, or the community allows it. And then 2 weeks later, after the diligence, we call the client and say, listen, we have advice from the lawyer, cancel the deal, don't go through. And I say that from the beginning. Don't trust anybody, accept the lawyer that you choose, and accept them. Make them prove everything. And agents can say whatever, and unfortunately it happens a lot that they just say whatever in the hope to get a sale, in the hope to get the commission. But the lawyer is the one who has the most responsibility. And they are the most knowledgeable one, I think, I always believe. And they're the one to best advise the client, like, hey, is it legally what is being told? Yes or no? And go with that. And as long as you give that advice from the start, they follow them.
Right, so we have to talk about now the Dutch buyers to start with, and the strength of the Dutch buyers and the development, mainly maybe the last 12 months or so, because we know through the stats that are finally available as well, right, through the notaries, that it's been an increase in the number of purchases from Dutch buyers. I know that there are certain tax reasons maybe for this, but would you say, first of all, it's correct from your point of view, your perspective?
Yeah, 100%.
That iTest supports the numbers? And also, what are they telling you? Why?
So I think it's not just the last 12 months. I think it's at least the last 24 months. And what you see is a very big reason is the change in Dutch government, the tax purpose, and the tax IDs they have. So first they said to everybody, yeah, you can buy in private the amount of properties that you want, you can rent them out, you pay very little taxes. They changed that. And they're changing more. And what I see is a lot of investors just selling off. I have a guy, he sold for more than 15 million euros in property and is bringing it here because, hey, okay, he's setting up a company, but still his taxes are so much lower here than what he would have been paying in the Netherlands. And that's what you keep seeing and seeing and seeing. And another thing is that the property prices in the Netherlands has risen very sharply. So a lot of younger people have a very high difference in what they bought the house for and the actual value. So they take another mortgage on the house and use that money to purchase here.
And just to clarify, maybe for the listeners here, is about the so-called Box 3 tax regulations in the Netherlands. So if you're buying a primary home, that's taxed with a transaction tax of, I think it's 2%. But the second home, now that's where the interesting comparison begins, right? Because then the transaction tax is significantly higher. It's 10.2, if I'm right, compared to the 2%. So 10% instead of the 2% just to start with. But then you also have the fictitious tax on the wealth.
On the revenue.
Even though you don't have the revenue, but they assume because it's a second home that you're renting it, and even though you don't have the revenue, they will tax you on a fictitious income.
And I'm going to even make it worse, and I'll give you a very nice example. I've got a Dutch client, he is living in a 5 million euro penthouse, and he needs to pay everything above 1,350,000 euros, you need to pay extra taxes on your home in the Netherlands. He's in the Netherlands for about 60, 70, maybe 80 days a year. And he came with a calculation to me. He said, every day I use my own home, I pay roughly 1,000 euros in taxes because I'm above that 1,350,000. He sold his property, bought a 1.2 million property, so he doesn't pay that taxes anymore. So they're very, very going on in the Netherlands with taxes, and a lot of people had enough. A lot of clients have been working years, decades on building a property portfolio and see it as their pension. And the Dutch government is blowing everything to pieces in matters of years.
Because we should point out here that if they're buying properties in Spain, a second home, according to the double taxation treaty between Spain and the Netherlands, they avoid that transaction tax.
Correct.
You should need to pay in
you don't pay it in Box 3.
No, you pay the taxes here in Spain. So that, and the transfer tax in Andalusia is 7%. So it is a significant tax also, but they avoid the wealth tax, of course, on the fictitious income.
But not only that, even if they just buy an apartment and use it for rentals or whatever, and they have an income, and they buy it as a private person, here they pay 19%. It's still much cheaper than the taxes you would pay in the Netherlands.
So I wanted to ask you as well, Maarten, the type of clients that you're dealing with. Let's focus now on the last 24 months, as you said. Do you see that there are more people from the Netherlands coming here, buying to move here, relocate here? Or is it still vacational homes? Is it more investors? What kind of clients are coming from the Netherlands?
I mean, I think if we talk in general, it's all of the above. You see more people coming to move here permanently, etc., because they can work remote. But if I look to our company, we are very highly on the business group investors. A lot of them buy a house here themselves because it's tax favorable. They live here 6-8 months a year. And then they start investing and they buy apartments and use it in a holiday rental. And that's actually why we set up a holiday rental department specifically at the request of our clients. And they buy for millions just to get the money away from the Netherlands and have it here because it's so much more tax favorable for them to have it here than in the Netherlands.
All right, so if we move on to the Belgium then, but of course we should point out again here, Malin, that your company does business in both countries, so that's interesting. So what are your own experience the last, let's say, is it also 24 months according to you?
Yeah, it's 24 months, and in that 24 months we went from 30% Dutch buyers, 70% Belgians. It's completely the other way around. But it's also a bit history repeating himself, because when we started in 2009, we solely sold to Dutch. Yeah, they had the difference between the value of the value of the property at home
and the
mortgage. There was so much. The value of the property has risen so much, and the mortgage was so little that with the difference, they could take a mortgage again to buy property. Yeah, but then after the financial crisis, prices in the Netherlands dropped massively, because everybody knows that the prices dropped in Spain 30%, but they also dropped in the Netherlands.
As well. Yeah.
So no more Dutch clients, but the Belgians never lost money. We have another way of financing. We have to put far more money ourselves in it. So now we see that with that overvalue, they call it, they come and buy. For tax reasons, they want to leave. Also, affordable housing. Yeah, it's everywhere. It's a problem, but it's a big problem in the Netherlands.
The Netherlands is overcrowded.
Yeah,
it's one of the smallest countries.
Of course.
And
yeah, so that's young families. It's difficult to afford a house, but it's also looking for another lifestyle. Dutch people, they correct me if I'm wrong, Maarten, but they have to wait. Something like the government doesn't have to tell me how to live my life. Yeah? They think they can come to Spain and they think about homeschooling children, and there will be more outside and there will be less rules. And I say, think again.
Yeah. I actually have a client who did that. They moved from the Netherlands to Spain. We recently sold a villa, but they have been homeschooling the kids, and now they're moving to South America. Yeah. Where they're actually going to homeschool the kids, because in the end Spain wasn't completely what they thought of it. But the Netherlands are very open-minded, I think, but they're very, very stubborn and they're very on their own. And I
do
think
it yourself.
do it yourself, my way or the highway.
You said something, Marleen, that was interesting to me, because my experience in the company is that our Belgian clients very, very rarely use a mortgage for the purchases. Do you have the same experience?
Our clients also, they ask us, oh, can we finance this? Yeah, we don't need it. We have the money, and when they do it, it's for tax reasons that they finance it. So they come with money. Yeah. In the Netherlands, they're used to making money from money. Yeah, it's more the American way of it's very similar to what the Americans do. So, but then the risk is very high when the property prices go down. In the Netherlands, say the house is underwater. That means that the mortgage is higher than the value of the property. Yeah, that's what happened in the financial crisis. Yeah. So, and the system of in Belgium, the Belgians can loan 70% of the value of the property in Spain, and in Belgium it's more or less the same. We tell clients, make sure you have 50% of the total purchasing cost and price, and if you want to take a mortgage, take it for half of it and not for more. So
but when the Belgium are buying, I'm going to ask both of you now, so when the Belgium are buying their property, let's say their residential home in Belgium, they don't usually use a mortgage?
Yeah, they
even
do.
Then?
When they're younger, they do it, but once you've done it, by the age of 45, they've paid for it. Yeah. The future generation will not be able to do that anymore.
And in the Netherlands,
Yeah,
you don't
and they
do it,
also
so-
prefer, if they take a mortgage, they want to take it in Spain because they don't want to mortgage again their first property. It's their family home. It's their
Is it again
roof
this
over their head.
family-orientated
Yeah, it's
society
their
that you
roof
have in
over the head.
Belgium? Yeah.
They're risk averse. Yeah.
So if Belgium, to be oversimplify
Yeah.
things, leaning towards family, security, generational wealth planning,
Privacy, yeah.
etc., privacy, and the Netherlands,
Yeah,
trade, commerce, finance,
I think the Netherlands, the Dutch are willing to take more risk. I mean, I remember buying my first house in the Netherlands. I could get 106% mortgage on my first house because the purchase costs were 5%, and then you've got 1% for something else.
No.
And in the Netherlands, that was normal. I think at this point it's 95 or 100% or something like that.
And Belgium, they can't. No.
But for the Netherlands, it's about making money. And I'm actively talking with all my clients. Okay, you can pay in cash, that's fine. But do you want to?
Yeah.
Because the mortgage rate is very low. We can bring you in contact with a mortgage advisor, or we forward in cash. It's whatever you want. And you see that after they thought of it, I think at least 50-60% who was planning to buy in cash is taking a mortgage. And especially my wealthier clients who do multi-unit purchases, they almost all take a mortgage because for the same money we can buy two.
Yeah.
And if we can get a return for 6-7% and I only pay 2% on mortgage or 2.5 or whatever, I'm making money.
Yeah.
On
I think what you,
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
On average, the Dutch move 13 times in their life, the Belgians 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got immigration fairs in the Netherlands. Yeah, doesn't exist in Belgium.
No.
I have, since I've been living with my wife for 20 years, I've not lived in one house longer than 4 years. And I was speaking with a client. He bought a 3 million euro villa in Hacienda Las Chapas, and he got a mortgage offer for 1 year, 3 years, and 10 years. And he said, I think I'll go for the 3 years. And I said, why? Why not for the 10 years?
Yeah.
It's the difference was not very big. And he said, because normally I move every 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So by the time that I sold this house, or by the time the 3 years up, I'm moving out and find something else anyway.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. And from our point of view, when it comes to, I mean, we deal mainly, of course, with the contractual work, the conveyancing, etc. And it's all about trust for us as well, as you correctly pointed out. And we're talking nuances here, but there are differences. So when I were assisting clients from the Netherlands, they were quite intricate when it comes to the wording of the contracts. They want to have very clearly to understand everything. They ask very direct questions, good questions, and when they feel that they have a clear understanding of the content of the contracts and the terms and conditions, then they relax and they move on and they do business. Slightly different, I would say, in my experience with the Belgians, are that they come from a society or from a system that is very protective. I think also that the notary's role in Belgium is a little more interventional. If there's something fundamentally wrong with a transaction in Belgium, that they actually protect then the parties involved, which is not the case here. So when we are building our trust and working with clients from Belgium, it tends to be a little bit more personal. They want to understand if we are a lawyer that they want to give their trust to. And when they have a general idea of the security and the structure of the transaction, then they're also relaxed to move on, but from a different mindset. And I think that's a little bit the nuances here. And I think on that topic, maybe we should now finish up by saying that we made an example by inviting both of you from the Netherlands and from Belgium, but business in both countries, right? To say they are not the same. It's definitely not the same. It's completely different traditions, history, religion, everything, right? Which then has an impact on expectations, legal framework, and so on. So don't mix them up, the Dutch or the people from Belgium. Am I right?
All right.
But we have friends on both sides. Yeah.
You're good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Swedes and the Norwegians. We're also always teasing each other.
Yeah.
That keeps it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it up, Malin? What do you think?
So this is it for this episode of the Country Files, and stay tuned for the next one.